Hello friends, I'm Sudhir and you're enjoying YouTube channel English Carnival, a journey of learning with joy. Friends, this channel is dedicated to English language, literature, criticism, academics, motivation and many more. Friends, today in our today's presentation, we are going to explore and study the most touching and emotional story or prose called The Happy Prince, which is written by Oscar Wilde. But friends, as usual, I request you before we proceed that you must subscribe the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you may get the notifications of uploaded videos on this channel in coming days. Friends, in our today's video, we are going to explore and study the most popular and widely read story or prose called The Happy Prince, which is written by Oscar Wilde. Friends, we are going to explore, we are going to understand this story called The Happy Prince in brief, but without missing a single crucial thread of the entire story. So friend, I again request you don't skip this video and watch it till end to enjoy the most beautiful story, The Happy Prince. So friends, without wasting much time, let's begin. Friends, the story called The Happy Prince was written by Oscar Wilde in 1888. Friends, Oscar Wilde was born in Dublin, and he was an acclaimed poet, novelist and playwright as well. He was born October 1854, as just I have told you, in Dublin. Friends, he experimented various forms of writings and established himself in the literary and artistic circles in London. He became one of the most acclaimed playwrights in English during 1890s. Friends, a woman of no importance, Lady Windermere's fan, and the importance of being earnest are some of his most popular plays. Friends, he wrote only one novel, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray. The collection of short story entitled The Happy Prince and Other Tales, published in 1888, and the story called The Happy Prince got published in that collection. Friends, The Happy Prince, or as far as the story called The Happy Prince is concerned, this is the story of the prince who is no more, and his statue has been established on a tall column in the city. His innocence, kindness, sincerity, and affectionate attachment with the swallow have been depicted nicely in this prose called The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde. Friends, here it seems the most important thread of the story, as all these things I have just shared with you, I have just told you, and we are going to explore this emotional bonding or attachment between the Happy Prince and Swallow. So friends, it is a story about the statue of a happy prince and a little swallow. The Happy Prince was a beautiful statue, stood on a tall column high above the city, and everyone who sees that statue appreciates it for its uncommon features and affectionate appearance as well. Friends, this statue was covered with a thin leaf, or with the thin leaves of gold. That statue had sapphires for his eyes and a ruby on the hilt of his sword. One night, friends, what happens? A little swallow flew over the city. He was much tired and he was seeking the shelter to spend the night. So friends, he found the statue of the Happy Prince and decides to spend the night between the feet of that statue. That means the Happy Prince. When he was preparing to sleep, then a large drop of water fell on the body of that swallow. Swallow becomes curious. As there were no clouds in the sky, then how it is being done? or how it has happened. Then another drop of water disturbed, and he decides to find out other places or other place to spend the night to have a sound sleep. But in between, the third drop comes down or fell on the body of the swallow. He looked up. He looked up immediately and saw that there were the tears from the eyes of that happy prince. Then the swallow asked, "Happy prince, who are you and why are you crying?" So this is the beginning of the interactions or dialogues between the happy prince and the swallow. The happy prince said that he lived in a place while he was alive, and he had kind human heart. There was no sorrow at all, and his called him the happy prince. Everyone was happy at that time, but after his death, he had been set up on a high pillar. His heart is made up of lead, and it always weeps when he sees the ugliness, pain, sufferings, and misery of the people in his city. He told the swallow afterwards that he has been observing all these things since long, and right now he observes a little street is there, a little boy of a seamstress is suffering badly, and he might be sick. He is crying, and his mother couldn't give him oranges to eat, and she is completely helpless. So the happy prince asked the swallow to give his ruby, which is on the hilt of the sword, to that poor woman before he leaves for Egypt. So friends, swallow accepts it and flew to the lady's house and put the ruby on the table of the poor woman. Then the happy prince saw a writer. This is the second incident or second attempt. A writer who was suffering from cold, and he was hungry and there was nothing to eat. Then friends, the happy prince asked again to swallow that kindly hand over the second task, or he hand overs the second task to that swallow and ask him to hand over the sapphires to that writer. It means one of his eyes. The swallow did not want to pluck out that sapphire from his eyes, but he obeyed him unwillingly and completes the task given by the happy prince. After that, the happy prince saw a match girl, and her matches fall down into the gutter. The girl becomes panic of thought of being beaten by her father because of this deed. Again, the happy prince requests the swallow and asks him to take out the second sapphire, that means his second eye, from his eye and hand it over to that innocent girl. The swallow plucked out the sapphire from the other eye of the happy prince, obviously unwillingly, and delivers it to that girl. Now the prince becomes totally blind, so he is unable to see anything. As the swallow has been continuously insisting to allow him to go to his homeland, that is Egypt, and on the other hand, the happy prince has been continuously requesting him, that means swallow, to go after completing his allotted task. Now the happy prince allows him to fly and go to his homeland, that is Egypt. But now, see, this is the turn. Now the swallow doesn't obey him and decides to be with the happy prince forever. Now friends, the swallow also starts observing the people who are suffering and who strongly need helping hands, as the happy prince is unable to have it due to his blindness. The swallow informs the happy prince afterwards about the starving people, and with the kind permission of the happy prince, he takes off the golden leaves from the statue and distributed the same leaves among the poor people or needy people who have been suffering. Now friends, the statue becomes quite dull and ugly. On the other hand, the climate and the frost made the swallow colder and colder, and he was about to die. He flew to the happy prince and kissed him and said that I'm going to the house of death. Yes, friends, I'm going to the house of death. It means I'm going to die now. As he might have realized that he is going to die soon. The swallow fell down at the feet of the statue and died. A curious crack sounded inside the statue, and the leaden heart of the prince broke into two parts, into two pieces. Finally, friends, the mayor of the city ordered that the statue should be pulled down because it was neither beautiful nor useful. The broken heart did not melt, so it was thrown away on a dust heap where the dead swallow was also already lying. At the end of the story, friends, the God, the Almighty, asked the angels to bring the two most precious things in that particular city. God praised the angel's choice in bringing back the leaden heart of the happy prince and the dead body or the dead swallow. So friends, this is the story called Happy Prince, quite touching, quite emotional one. So friends, it was all about Oscar Wilde's renowned prose, a story called The Happy Prince, which is the product of the selfless attachment of the prince and the swallow, or between the prince and swallow. Friends, for your convenience, I have put some probable questions based on this story in the description box. If you are willing, you can explore it. I'm sure it will definitely help you out. Friends, I'm sure you have liked this video, the story The Happy Prince. If you have liked it, then I request you to like it and share it among your friends, near and dear ones as well. Friends, again I request you, if you have not subscribed the channel yet, then I request you to subscribe the channel by just pressing the subscribe button and hitting the bell icon so that you may get the notifications of uploaded such kinds of videos on this particular channel in coming days. So friends, we will meet soon on the same platform with different subject, different ideas and different concepts related to, obviously, English language, literature, criticism, academics and motivation. So friends, till then, just take care of yourself and be happy. Thank you very much.